Well, I know you have a ability to produce shows because you produced this one. I want you to know, I never seen a situation where a person produces a show and still on it. That's so unique, isn't it? I mean, but I want to let you know I really appreciate you producing this. Let me just, what do you say to young people today that for some reason they don't understand the importance of staying in school? You know, they just sort of in and out of trouble, all kinds of problems. What do you say to them? What kind of message can we sort of give to them? Because, you know, once they drop out of school, I mean, their life is just, I mean, today it's very difficult to have a very quality kind of life once you stop and don't get your education. And a lot of them just don't go to school, just quit. What do we say to young people? What words can we give them to sort of encourage them to sort of hang on and stay in school? Why don't we start with you?
Well, I would like to introduce the empirical approach. I think those points that you just raised are true for the greater populace of the United States of America, but they're much more staggering among African Americans. And I think they just need to see people who are coming, African Americans I'm speaking of, need to see people who are examples or who are coming out of the same conditions or circumstances that they were faced with and seeing them actually succeed. I just actually did a research paper in my intro to sociology class concerning this matter, and studies actually do show that students, African American students who are motivated and continuously or consistently motivated throughout their college tenure tend to finish school. So if you continue to motivate them, show them actual people, examples, living examples of people who've been faced with similar scenarios or circumstances coming out of school, they have a higher chance of succeeding because they'll look at that person and say, hey, that person's just like me. It's almost like a mirror image. I can do it.
Right. What do you say to them? Very good. I like that. I mean, you know, in other words, you become a role model for them. Let them see you, and you doing positive things.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's great. Walking around with your pants up, not down. I got you. Yes.
I would definitely elaborate on what Renaldo said, because once you establish a role model for students, especially for young students, then you can begin to lay the groundwork to have them want to learn. And I think that if they learn about subjects that interest them and they see people in places that look like them, then I think that will help students to become more engaged in school. And the best advice I would give to a young student is to find out who you are, at least try to. Find a mentor, find someone that you admire. Find out more about your history, about your culture, about the United States of America as a whole, and ask questions in class, because I know going through school there's often peer pressure to not ask questions because it may not seem uncool. But in asking questions you can find out more about, because I'm pretty sure everyone in the classroom has a question, and when you ask a question you can find out more about how you believe about a certain topic, or it may spark your interest in realizing that this may be something you want to do for the rest of your life. And so I think that every student they had a dream when they were young. It's just when you grow up, life sort of gets in the way, and things happen that sort of deter you from your original path. But trying to stay the course and trying to be consistent and focused and determined, I think if they have that person there, and if they attach themselves to a certain topic or to a certain interest, then it will help them to finish school and possibly go on to higher education.
Right. I think you have a point there. You know, we need to do everything that we can to encourage young people to stay in school. What are your views on that?
Well, I'm a firm believer in building a strong relationship with yourself. And I think that a lot of youth today need to be encouraged to develop a relationship with themselves so that they can have a stronger sense of self, so that when they encounter situations external, they don't have to rely on other sources to help them figure out what they need to do in life. And I think that if they build a sense of relationship with a sense of self-awareness, then it's possible that they can realize their potential and understand that the qualities that they need to succeed are already within themselves, and that they need to find opportunities or search for other ways to enhance those skills so that they will feel the need and see the benefit of actually going on to school and developing themselves as an individual and set themselves aside from the group.
Right. What are your views on that?
I think one of the main reasons why students drop out of school is that the environment around them is very discouraging. Maybe there's family problems, the school environment fails them, or they don't feel that they have the opportunity to succeed. And I think one thing that students need to learn is that they have access to resources beyond their environment. If their environment is not catering to their needs or their educational needs, they need to know that there are resources, there are opportunities for them. You know, I went to Canarsie High School, which was not the best high school in Brooklyn at the time, but I knew, based on my family background and by researching, that there were other opportunities for me. I had the opportunity to go to Germany in my junior year. I also had the opportunity to participate in the National Youth Leadership Conference. Those type of opportunities were not given to students who I was attending school with. These were inner city school students, and most of them didn't feel that they could succeed beyond what was given to them. But there needs to be more information given to these students that even though you may not come from the best environment, there are opportunities for you that you could take advantage of. And when they see that, they would want to pursue their academic goals in the future.
So you're saying that opportunity in terms of an exposure,
yeah,
really makes a difference as well. What do you say to somebody that does not have an opportunity to get the exposure? Now, your grandfather is Bishop Penn, is that correct?
Yes.
Right, so you had a lot of exposure, and you had a lot of contact with a lot of different people. But what do we say to young people that do not have that kind of opportunity? What do we say to them to encourage them to hold on?
Well, I would encourage them to seek that opportunity or to seek that access, just because as you may know, well, I'm sure you know, the zeitgeist has changed. The spirit of the times are different. This is now the information age. So you can go to a public library if you don't have internet access at home and actually, Google people or search for different career trajectories and look at model individuals to follow. For instance, I want a career of jurisprudence or following law. So I look at the life of Thurgood Marshall, or I look at the life of Johnny Cochran, or any other black legal professional who's had similar success, and I see what steps did they take to get to where they are, and I try to model my path or whatnot in the same order that they did.
Let's talk about decisions. When you get ready to go to college, you have to make a decision as to what university or what college will I attend. And I'm certain that you talk to family members, guidance counselors, and then there's always the other issue too, in terms of finance. That's a big issue, and I know about that one because, I've had 2 children to put through college myself, so I know a little bit about that. Now, what did you do at the end? How did you make a decision to go to George Washington University?
Well, the decision came down to I wanted to be in a city environment, so it was between Boston and Washington, D.C. That's how I narrowed it down to location of college. And I wanted to be near a place that can offer me job opportunity afterwards, so D.C. was sort of my final choice as a political science major. But as you know, George Washington University is one of the most expensive schools in the country right now, and so it came down to whether or not my family could afford it. And at the end of the day, financial aid, and I received a large alumni grant from the university as well, which made it available that I was able to attend that school. So that's how it came down to it. It was location was the first thing I looked at. What I was majoring in was political science, and this was the best atmosphere being in the Capitol. And third was whether or not I would receive the right financial aid package. And George Washington University gave me the largest financial aid package out of Syracuse and Binghamton. So that's how I ended up at George Washington.